Hi everyone! Welcome to Monica's Singapore Kitchen. Today I'll be making an air fryer blooming onion. This is a popular appetizer consisting of one large onion cut to resemble a blooming flower. The fleshy leaves will be coated with flour mixture, egg mixture and breadcrumb mixture. It is typically served with a savory, creamy dipping sauce. Traditionally, this blooming onion is deep fried in a cauldron of oil. My family enjoys it very much, so whenever I cook it, I will air fry it as this is a healthier alternative. Come along with me to see how this snack is prepared. I'm using 2 large yellow onions. This is the basil plate where the papery leaves and the fleshy leaves are connected to. Do not cut this off. However, cut the top nose of the onion off and then peel the papery leaves from the center outwards all the way to the bottom. Remember to keep the bottom intact. Then we are going to just tear away these papery leaves. And then you see the beard all over. So just trim this beardy stuff off and tidy the basil plate. So this part has to be intact. So do the same for the other one until we are finished for both. Then the next step is to use a jar cover to prevent us from cutting the onion all the way through. So with the basil plate at the bottom, we place the onion right on top of this lid. So we're going to cut it into 8 equal wedges. If you prefer the wedges to be smaller, you can cut into 16 wedges. So it's up to you. Also depending on the size of your onion. If it is bigger, you can cut into more wedges. Then gently separate the fleshy leaves so that they fan out like flower petals. Yeah, it's quite easy just to remove it like that. Yeah, just to separate them. So do the same for the second onion. Okay, so again, gently separate the petals. So then it looks like a blooming onion, yeah, like a flower like that. Now we're going to soak the onions. So I just have some ice cubes and then pour just tap water over the ice cubes, and with the cut side down, just soak it for 30 minutes. This soaking is to mellow the sharp taste and to make them more crispy. Soaking also enables them to open up beautifully. Then I'm going to make the sauce. I'm using the QP mayonnaise. We need 4 tablespoons of it. So this will be our dipping sauce. So I'm also using 2 tablespoons of Thai sweet chili sauce. These 2 sauces pair very well. It's like a match made in heaven kind of thing. So you're going to stir it to create swirls. I like it this way because it looks a little bit more beautiful. Then we sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds on top. Okay, so we can put this dipping sauce aside. Let's make our mixtures, starting with the flour mixture. So for this, we need a cup of plain flour, turmeric powder, pepper, salt, mushroom powder. You can put any seasoning powder of your choice. So this is what I always do for my family. So you just have to mix it well so that all the ingredients are totally incorporated. The second mixture will be our egg mixture. I'm using 4 eggs here. So very simple, the Seasoning, I will just use salt and pepper. So if you have got your onions are bigger, so use maybe 1 or 2 more eggs. Smaller, just adjust, maybe 3 eggs will be sufficient. So just do accordingly. So just lightly beat the eggs until everything is well combined. So the third mixture will be our breadcrumb mixture. So of course we need our breadcrumbs. Then we will just season it with turmeric powder, salt, pepper, the usual suspects. And then here I'm adding 50 milliliters of oil. The oil is important as it will help the onion to crisp up. So just add a little bit. Yep, so it's a lot less than what we would do if, let's say, we had fried it in a cauldron of oil. So mix everything well. So our third mixture is also ready. Here we have our onions soaking for 30 minutes. Just remove them from the cold water and then with the cut side down, drain it on the kitchen paper. Also wipe the tops and in and round to ensure that every part is nice and dry. Then plunk our onion onto our flour mixture. Then scoop the flour mixture and spread the flour all over and in between the little fleshy leaves. Get the flour down all the way to the bottom. Yep, just shimmy it around so that it will just ease itself all the way to the bottom. Naturally, you can see that the petals will open further when the flour gets in between the cut petals. So it becomes even more blossomy. Okay, so put it there and then subject the second one to the same process. So okay, the first dredging station is over. Now we are going to go to the second dredging station, which is the egg mixture coating. So just plunk our onion and then scoop the egg mixture, dribble it in between all the petals. You can just tilt the plate if you find it's difficult to scoop. It will go all in between the petals. This reminds me of a yellow lotus flower. By the way, are there yellow lotus flower in nature? Let me know if anybody knows. Let's get this drenched onions out of the tub. Okay, subject the second onion to the same process until it gets totally drenched as well. And then remove it. And then we will move on to the last dredging station, which is the breadcrumb mixture coating. So we are going to put the onion right at the center and as per normal, scoop the breadcrumbs and fill up the spaces in between the petals. Get as much as possible as this mixture will crisp up our onions. So it will just sit nicely separating the petals, thus making them crispy when cooked and not soggy. Now eventually you can see that our onions is in full bloom. All nicely spread out. Also plunk the second one in and then scoop everything in between. The amount of breadcrumbs looks just right for these two onions. You can see that it is just perfect, the amount. So adjust the ingredients according to the size of your onion. I'm using a 400 gram onion. Per onion is 400 grams, so a total of 800 grams. So we are going to air fry it. That's the next step. So before we air fry, just sprinkle a little bit of oil on the air fryer rack. Just a wee bit. Then I'm going to air fry one at a time because my blooming onion has spread out a lot, so it takes up almost the whole air fryer. So I'm going to do one at a time. So air fry it at 190 degrees Celsius or 370 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. I'm using Philips Air Fryer Nova XXL 7.2 liters, just the right size. Here we are, our golden brown blossoming flower is ready. My kitchen is filled with warm, sweet fragrance of onion. It is best enjoyed when the onion is fresh and hot immediately after cooking, as it is crispiest and sweetest. If you are planning to make this for a snack, let me know whether you prefer the traditional deep-fried version or the lighter air-fried version. Then I normally enjoy it with traditional spicy sweet mayo to balance the savory rich flavors of the onion. Thanks for watching and see you again in the next video. Happy cooking!